A man who's completely satisfied with himself is guaranteed, almost guaranteed, to have long-term success with women, undeniably. It is such a differentiating factor, and it's a matter of day and night difference between someone who takes full ownership of who he is, embodies every aspect of himself, both his light and dark qualities, and is not moving through life with some kind of hesitancy. He moves without apology. He's unapologetically masculine. That is the essence of being a man. Is confidence can't be faked. When you do have confidence, you don't need to prove it. It's just there. And let's be honest, you wouldn't care either way whether people think you're confident or not, because you know it within yourself. It's there, and it's permanent. It's lasting. It's a self-realization. And women feel it. When you do have it, you can just sense it in someone the moment he comes through the door. And the man who is completely pleased with himself, even if he's unemployed, even if he doesn't, have the best style, even maybe if he's living in his mom's basement, whatever it is. But if he's completely pleased with himself and he radiates confident vibes, then he will have immeasurable success with women. A lot of the people I used to hear used to say, when I was broke, that's when I had the most success with women. It's not necessarily when I became successful. You see, the success with women is not always correlated with how much success you've had. It's all a matter of mindset, the idea you have of yourself. Self-image is such a big factor in this. You have to realize also that there's no specific demographic of women who find this attractive. Most of them find it attractive, regardless of whether they're a lawyer or whether they're, a barista or whatever their social standing is. Doesn't matter. It's in their biology. They have a weakness for men who radiate total self-confidence, almost to an irrational extent. And when you realize that you can't fake it and you have to build it up for yourself, regardless of where you're at in your life situation, it doesn't matter. However, when you do realize that it plays the biggest probably role beyond your looks, your height, your status, all of that. And it is one of the most common questions I get is, how do I develop confidence? And it has the most straightforward answer possible, which is treat yourself with respect, build yourself a life which you can be proud of in a few years, and pursue the things which are meaningful to you beyond the scope of women. Keep your feminine ideals, at the door, and just think about what you would think is honorable to you by your own moral values and your aspirations. What is it really that you really value in life? What is your biggest ambition? That will be your driving force. The moment you shift gears and are taken in by enticements and by lust and by addictions, you're going to distract yourself with pleasure. Even Viktor Frankl literally said, the moment a man lacks purpose, he distracts himself with pleasure. That's literally what most men do. Now, we have two options. You can either remain like most men, addicted to drugs, smoking, drinking, partying endlessly, aimlessly wandering, trying to figure out what the hell all of this is about. Or you have another option, which is you can take full ownership of yourself, build up some discipline, and the confidence is literally a symptom of the sacrifices you decide to make in your life. This is not some gimmick. Now, sure, this is maybe useful for you to know that it's true that some women are basically taken in by false appearances or false displays of power, of confidence. Men can demonstrate some kind of arrogance, false display of confidence, and women being more naive in their younger years could be easily taken in by that, and they may mistake it for competence. But let me tell you something, competence, you can't really shortcut it in any possible way. It takes great suffering to create the kind of man who not only can seduce any woman he pleases, but also has a degree of personal authority which transcends the scope of women altogether. That is one of the most important points you have to realize, is that the woman part is a byproduct of an already accomplished and sustainable and meaningful life. The moment you make it the sole purpose of your existence, you're going to lead yourself astray. I can assure you of that because I've seen it happen countless times, both with intimate friends and otherwise. You've been put on this earth to do something which basically transcends your existence. And the pursuit of that is what builds lasting confidence, the kind of confidence which you basically don't need to even fake with women. Now, there's a difference between confidence and having charisma, which is basically having elements of game, of knowing how to speak to women and interact with them to increase your likelihood of success with women. However, there are a lot of confident men who are not so competent with women merely because they haven't put in the effort or um, even acquired the skill of speaking to women, of having charisma. Some men have it automatically, other men don't. However, the pursuit of something meaningful beyond the scope of women is the fastest way to acquire long lasting confidence. Now, there are other facets which build confidence, of course. If you develop yourself physically, you get in the best shape of your life, which is highly recommended. And listen, like Hormozy also always preaches, there will never be a better time to get in shape in the next few years. You're only going to get more busy as you get older. You have to do it now. You have to get in the best shape of your life now rather than later. It is only when you get in the best shape of your life that you start to get a taste of what real confidence is in yourself, in your body, being comfortable in your own skin. That already pushes you up a notch in terms of confidence. When then you are voluntarily putting yourself out there, both speaking to women, and it doesn't matter if you're failing and if you're having hiccups and shortcomings, because that's merely a lack of skill set, so you will acquire it as you go. However, even just speaking to more women on a day-to-day basis is going to increase both your charisma and confidence with women specifically. But my suggestion is that you develop confidence all around if you want real lasting confidence. Because the sacrifices you make and the efforts you put in to master yourself and your own emotions, which is possibly the greatest mastery of all, that is going to pay you dividends in ways which you can't even possibly imagine in the next decade, at least. And it is not so obvious to men that women can sense it so easily in a man, because you see a lot of men faking it, sure. However, men can't really fake it that well either. The men who have the most success with women are the men who have actual confidence, and they are the real deal. And that constitutes the upper 10% of men, let's say, who have already had tremendous success with women. But you shouldn't be comparing yourself, of course, to these men, because your potential might be greater than theirs, and you might be cut out for something even greater. So those are some suggestions I would give. There's other factors in mind, of course, like having a job, eating well, having a brotherhood, so you have a sense of belonging. If you have some friendship, these all play a big factor as well. However, when you come to the nitty-gritty of it all, is having a purpose beyond the scope of women, a purpose which wakes you up at night and also gets you excited in the beginning of the day. That far outweighs the frustrations and the anxieties that might arise from your pursuit of women and your successes and failures. And I think that is more noble than anything else you could possibly do for yourself. So